Top of the top, y'all, it's your boy Show tapping in today with yet another deal breakdown. Today I'm going to be telling y'all how we were able to make $25,000 from this deal. I believe from contract to close was just under 40 days, about 38 days from contract to actual closing. Going to go through how we were able to source this deal and find this lead. Going to go through all the hiccups that we went through while trying to get this deal done in a timely manner and let you guys know how we were able to resolve those issues along the way as well. All right, so tap in today, man. Hopefully I can drop some gems that y'all can pick up and take along with you on your journey into your wholesaling business, which is what I always try to do with every video. I just ramble, tell the details of the situation as I remember them, try to remember all the key details, and hopefully, like I said, drop some gems that y'all can pick up and take away with you. You know what I'm talking about? So let's get it, y'all. Tap in. All right, y'all. So this seller lead actually initially came from radio. He called from our radio ad. He was looking to sell a property, which I did meet him at. We set an appointment to meet at that property, but it's a totally different property than the one we're going to talk about today that we actually closed on. So that initial property that he wanted to sell from that radio call, I met him there at the property, assessed the property, we talked about it. He actually signed the purchase agreement on site, but as I continued to talk to him, I ended up finding out he owed like $80,000 in taxes or something really significant to the point where it didn't make sense for us to purchase at that purchase price. So we actually signed and terminated that agreement in one setting, which has never happened with us before, but luckily, like I said, I was able to extract some more information from him while I was there before we went off and marketed the property, found a buyer, sent a title, and all types of other different things, and ultimately wasted everybody's time. So at that same meeting, like I said, we terminated that contract, but he did tell me at that same time that he had several other properties that he was going to be looking to sell, you know, in the far future. So just stay in contact with him. And so that's what we did. We had our cold caller go through our cold and or dead leads and follow up on people who could be potential sellers a couple months down the line. So our cold caller did reach the seller. He expressed interest in selling another property that he had, gave our cold caller his price. Once our cold caller tried to qualify him and ask additional questions regarding the property, he just kind of hung up on him. He was really aggressive. And so on my follow-up call, I tried to make that contact from that we had before and say, hey, this is Andrew giving you a follow-up call regarding this property, but we actually talked a couple months ago, such so on and so on. You know, I try to give the facts right off so people can feel comfortable with me and I can build that rapport. But as I'm doing that, he gets aggressive with me as well, you know, and I think he told me something like, man, I ain't trying to talk about them properties, or don't bring up that shit right now, or something along those lines. And he hung up on me as well. And so now he's also been aggressive with me, just like he was with our cold caller. So now he's just obviously in an aggressive state. So I have to try to go back to the drawing boards and say, okay, how can I reach this guy, right? And so he had already told our cold caller his price. And so obviously he's a price guy. He has a certain number in mind. He wants that money. So when I call him back, now I'm thinking I'm going to mention this number to him off top, okay? Just to get his attention, just to slow him down, calm him down, and get him talking to me. And so I did a couple follow-ups in between that last call. But once I did get him on the phone, I said, hey, Mr. So-and-so, this is Andrew. I was giving you a call regarding that $70,000 offer for your property located at blank, blank, blank. He was completely open to talking to me then. And so we just kind of went from there, set a property appointment for me to meet. I actually didn't meet him at the subject property because there was a tenant there. He did not want to show the property with the tenant there, and the tenant was taking his time on getting out. So I actually met the seller at his personal residence. I met with him and his wife. Pulled up as I always do, came with the agreement, read through the terms of the agreement, explained the terms line by line, signed the agreement, and then when it was time for them to sign, he was all ready to go, but his wife actually stepped in. And man, if you've been doing this business, you know how those wives can be. Those husbands kind of, you know, like just whatever, I'm down for whatever, let's do it for the most part. And those wives are hecklers, man. Even if their names are not on the title, man, those wives can mess some things up. I won't go into much detail about that, but if you know, you know. But she was like, yeah, I want to have our attorney look over this and make sure this is that, and, you know, a bunch of other things. So again, you know, I just kind of reassured her of everything I was saying, let her know that it was perfectly fine for her to consult with an attorney. I'm confident in our purchase and sale agreement and all of the terms in there, to the point where you can have anybody look over this, your realtor, your attorney, your mom, your dad, your baby. I don't care. You know, our agreement is solid, and I never get threatened when people say that. All right. People normally don't even have an attorney or have a realtor friend. They just say that as a deterrent to try to buy them more time and see what your response is from that. So I never put on any pressure when people say that. I say, absolutely. I actually encourage you to talk to an attorney. I encourage you to talk to your realtor friend, because they should tell you, like I'm telling you, that this is the right move to make. All right. So I left the purchase and sale agreement there with them so they can, you know, talk to their advisor, whoever that person may have been. But a day later, the husband actually called and he said, hey, my wife read over the agreement. We talked with our friend and we're ready to go. This is a good deal. We're ready to go. So boom, I went back to the property, met with him again, had him sign that purchase and sale agreement. And then I just went over the next steps with him. We agreed at a purchase price of $75,000. But here's where it gets tricky, because he was actually ready to go at, I think, like 60,000. But when I couldn't get him on the phone, I had sent him a mailer and made him an offer for 75,000. So when I talked to him and he realized I was the same guy who had wrote him a letter, he was like, oh, you ready to give me 75,000. So I'm ready to do that. So kind of bit myself in the ass. We probably could have got it for 60,000, but nonetheless, we locked it up for $75,000, and we did that without even seeing the property. Like I said, there was a tenant there, so he did not want to show the house, but that was no problem. We know the zip code in the area really well. We know what the properties are selling for, really good on our comparables, our comps, and running the numbers. So we also knew what we could sell it for, right? So we ended up finding a buyer at $100,000. So $25,000 assignment fee for us. Ultimately, the buyer wasn't a problem at all. A couple weeks later, the tenant ended up moving out, met with the seller and his wife over at the house, took some pictures that were nice. For the most part, his wife was still giving me some slack. Just say, you know, if you guys can't get this done by the date here, we already have other buyers. We've talked to other people. We have other interests. And if y'all can't get it done on this date, we're dropping y'all and we're moving forward with someone else, which wasn't a problem. Like I said, we already had a buyer lined up, so it wasn't sweating that. But the real problem came in on closing day. So we get to the day of closing, right? Everything's in order. Buyers have submitted their closing documents and their funds, but the seller is refusing to sign. Not the guy, but his wife is telling him not to sign the paperwork because we had a mobile notary go out to them for final document signing. And so obviously, if you're familiar with the process, once final documents are signed and sent back to title, then title company releases the funds where everybody can get paid, whether that be a check or a wire transfer, all right? But the wife was very adamant about the fact that she did not want to sign anything unless she actually saw a check for the $75,000 at the time of signing, which I have never heard of. I have never seen done before, which is completely impossible. So I'm telling her, like, listen, if you sign these documents, we can go to the title company. I'll wait with you at the title company until your funds are dispersed. All right. I'm trying to come up with all these solutions. And she's just like, no, screw that. F that. We ain't signing nothing until we see the cash. And so now I'm thinking like, wow, here we are. Final closing day, $25,000 on the line for an assignment fee. And this lady wants something that's not even possible. So I did the only thing I could do. I reached out to my escrow officer, who has been the best, and having a good, reputable title company who is as dedicated to solving problems as you are is very key in this business, okay? Vet your title companies, guys. Make sure they are willing to get in the trenches with you. And so I knew our escrow officer would do whatever she could possibly do to get this done after I explained the situation. And what did she do? She came through, okay? And this is what happened. Since our buyer was paying cash, he wasn't getting a loan, he didn't have a lender, he was paying cash and had already submitted that money. What title was able to do was cut that $75,000 check for the seller and send out another notary with that check in hand to get them to sign, and then they got their check immediately. I have never seen that happen. And per our escrow agent, it would not have been able to happen if there was a lender in place and this wasn't a cash transaction. So that's why it's also so important to vet your buyers. You need to know if they're paying with lender's money, if they're getting a hard money loan, if they're doing private money, if they're doing cash, whatever it is. You want to know what type of financing your buyer is bringing to the table, because that is going to allow you a lot more flexibility in your deals, guys. Okay, so you want to have a reputable title company who is going to get in the trenches with you. Okay, and you also want to know what type of financing your buyer is bringing to the table. That's going to give you options when you have difficult sellers and problems at the closing table. All right, guys. So again, our title escrow agent was able to get it done. She has been a godsend. I mean, that was like a miracle. I never seen that done before. But regardless, she got it done. We were able to make the seller's wife happy. And so they ended up signing the paperwork. They got their check. Done deal, guys. All right. So that one was kind of a bump, not really because of the seller or title issues, because I mean, it was pretty clear as far as title. He didn't pay the taxes for that year. So those taxes were behind, but he wasn't far behind on that house. No liens, nothing crazy with title. Like I said, we went from contract to close in under 40 days. So it was a pretty smooth process, other than the tenant taking his time moving out and the wife giving us hell. But thanks to us having a solid pool of cash buyers, actual cash buyers, and for us having a solid, reputable title company, we were able to get this deal done, guys, and put $25,000 in the bank. All right. So that's how we were able to do it, man. And then also, if y'all picked up on it, you have to stay consistent with those follow-up calls. When people have shown interest and raised their hand, like, hi, I'm interested to sell, whatever that reason is, it is your job to continue to reach out to these people day after day after day until they're ready to move forward with the contract, or they tell you, screw you, don't call me again, I'm not selling my house to you, okay? Anything in the gray area is unacceptable, guys. You have to get one of the two. After somebody expresses interest, you either need to move on to do a deal, or you need to cancel them out. All right. Don't have a gray area, guys. All right. Stay consistent, do more deals, stay on top of your follow-ups, get a great title company, build a solid pool of buyers, and keep doing deals. All right. To the next deal breakdown, y'all. Let's get this money. All right. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. All right. And if you really liked it, share it with a friend. I'm going to continue to do deal breakdowns going into 2022. I'm going to get a little more interactive with you guys and provide more value. All right. So if you have a way I can provide more value, if there's a video that you want to see, a topic you want me to cover, comment below. All right. And again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Till next time, y'all, tap in.